The opinions and recommendations expressed by Dan are his own and do not necessarily represent the opinions of this station or any of the show's sponsors.
As you're looking for that unique gift this Christmas, I hope that you could think about giving the gift that has the power to change lives of thousands of impoverished people around the world, primarily in Asia. And these impoverished, stricken families will consider a chicken, a goat, anything, that a pair of rabbits, as an incredible blessing. The beauty of Gospel for Asia and our partnership at American Family Radio with Gospel for Asia and the Christmas campaign is that you are teaching people to fish, as the expression goes. You're not going to just carry them the gospel and say, look, you really need to get up and get working and do something with your life and walking away. You're not plowing a field, throwing in the seed and say, hey, look, when it grows, harvest it. You're teaching them how to do it. You're teaching them how to fertilize. You're teaching them how to do all that. And I use that as an analogy because when you give them a pair of chickens for $11, they will learn quickly how to raise chickens. They will be taught how to harvest the eggs, use some of the eggs to get more chickens, use some of the eggs to feed their family, and use some of the eggs to sell. And it becomes a thriving business in a third world impoverished country. And in the interim, you're changing their life and perhaps the life of an entire village. And you have an opportunity to do this and change their eternal life, because this gift will come to them by way of a missionary or a pastor, a native missionary or pastor that is going to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with them, but is also going to, maybe this could be a foot in the door to plant a church in that village. And Gospel for Asia has planted thousands of churches throughout Asia. So we hope you'll participate. It's an incredible Christmas gift. Involve your children, grandchildren. We're doing it tomorrow night with our grandchildren. We're going to sit with them and we're going to decide. We're going to get on the website. You can go to afr.net. We're going to click on it and we're going to let them pick what they want and explain to them that we are fulfilling the Great Commission and have an opportunity to share the Great Commission with them and tell them we are reaching the furthest corners of the world with the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I hope you'll do it. Go to afr.net. Click on that Christmas Critter campaign. We sure would appreciate it. Click on that, or you can call, if you'd like, 877-907-GOAT or 877-907-4628. We sure would appreciate it. Let me go back to the phones. All the major indices in negative territory, not by much, but just slightly right now. Let me go to George. George calling us from New Mexico. Hey, George.
Hey, how you doing, Dan? Saw you in Amarillo.
Oh, did you? That's right, George. I remember you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
And you
had a credit question here.
Okay.
You know, I used to pay off my credit card immediately every month. And then I thought, like I'd be checking my credit score. I have no debt, but and I thought, gee, my credit score ought to be up like around 99%,
Right.
But I found out that once you said that credit card debt, if you make your payments right, contributes to your credit credibility.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Now, I've got, my credit card, I've been doing things, charging my credit card for a couple of reasons. Number one, to build up air miles. Mm-hmm. And number two, just to, all the stuff that I buy, then I've been paying off like half each month. Now, does that help add to my credit score, or just minimum payment, or how does that work?
The best thing, George, to do is, you've got to be a disciplined person to do this, but the best thing is the minimum payment for a couple of payments. Not, you don't have to keep it forever, and it's kind of kills you to have to pay that ridiculous interest. But the ideal situation is that you pay, 3 or 4 minimum payments and then pay it off. And then, a month later, buy a tank full of gas or do something, pay a couple minimum payments, pay it off. I mean, and maintain that pattern. If you do that, that is more than anything going to significantly help your credit score.
Okay, because see, like right now, I've got, my limit is about $5,000. I've got about $2,000 charged, and I thought, I'll pay $1,000, and let the rest be carried. But
you can do that, George. I mean, you can do that, or and then pay the $1,000 in monthly payments, or you can do the reverse and just pay it now, pay some 6 or 8 monthly payments and then pay it off. But
okay.
Yep.
But it's good to reduce it back down to owing nothing.
It is good. The key is, George, don't close the account. Closing your account is not good for your credit. And applying for new accounts and is not good for your credit. So in other words, if you go out and apply for 4 credit cards all at once, that is going to hurt your credit score.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
So those things, just keep what you have, and even though there's a zero balance, don't ever, don't close it. And if there's a monthly fee, an annual fee on keeping the credit card with the zero balance, you call the credit card company and say, look, I don't want to close my account, but I don't use it. I don't want to pay the monthly fee, or should I just close it? And usually they'll waive not monthly. I keep saying monthly, but you know what I mean. They'll usually waive the annual fee for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't pay those annual fees. All right.
Okay. You say don't pay the annual fee under any condition?
Well, no. I mean, if it's a credit card that you use and you want to keep, and you want to, make sure that you stay in good standing with them, it's not one that has a zero balance that you've had a zero balance on for 5 years, and now all of a sudden they're charging an annual fee. I mean, if it's your emergency credit card, I have one that I use when I travel, and I pay the annual fee on it. But I have others that have zero balance, that have had zero balances forever, that I don't pay any annual fees on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I've got 2 cards, but I've just been using one, like I've explained to you, and the other one just sort of sitting in my billfold.
Yeah. Well, ask the question. Call them up and say, look, I don't use this. I want to keep it because of emergencies. I might need it someday, but next time you get a statement that has the annual fee on it, $25 or whatever it is, you might want to call them and say, is there, can you waive this? I don't use it. And at least ask the question.
Weird as maybe somebody else has experienced this, but the card I have now, I think this last year they started a $60 annual fee, but then I thought, well, gee, how come they're doing that? But now they sent a little book with all this accidental insurance and baggage, lost baggage and all that. And I said, is that what is, because if the $60 is paying for all of that, I've already got that.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay the $60. And they said, no, the $60 is the annual fee. We are giving you those benefits. Yeah.
They're not giving you anything. There's not a credit card company in the world that gives anybody anything. But I know what you're saying, and I would ask him the question, say, I'm going to drop the card, and if I don't want to pay this $60 fee, something I'm not using. So I would press him on that, and I would tell everybody out there, press him on that. I think that makes good sense. Thank you, George. I appreciate you, brother. I'm getting out to Amarillo again. I'm going to meet a few folks out there in mid-January sometime, I think. But I sure appreciate you coming out to the town hall meeting. I appreciate your gift of a CD that you gave us that my wife and I have listened to and sure appreciate, and I thank you for that. Merry Christmas, George. Have a great day. Let me go to James in Illinois. Hey, James. Go ahead, James. Okay, we don't have James.
Hello, Dan. Merry
yeah.
Christmas and God bless you.
Thank you, James.
And thank you for the forum.
You're welcome.
Christian forum. I'm a devout Christian, and I'm glad I ran across the family radio on the Democrat, maybe Republic or the Republican radio for sure. Anything that you talk about, they twist it to the conservative or the liberal point of view, and I still believe that they're using those words or those monikers to enslave us. Really, I believe that it's, in essence, it's all evil.
I agree.
And I believe that there's major, like the credit industry, major criminal actions being perpetrated on the American public. I don't know if they've still got that credit rate or credit where they can give it to 18-year-old kids in college, knowing that they're going to go in massive debt, and either their parents are going to pay for it, or they'll hound them to death until they pay for it. And that hounding, harassment is out of the roof on probably more than half the population.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 2/3 of the population. They are harassing daily. Even gigantic companies that have been bailed out, like Wells Fargo, they ask you right off the bat, "Can we call you?" Knowing that they're going to use that later to just hound people to the point of therapy.
Yeah, it's bad, James. I agree with you, and I talked about a couple months ago. There was a report that banks are now opening back up the college student credit card deal, where these kids 19 and 20 years old were getting credit cards, and that kind of went away for a few years, but it is coming back again in full force, and we're going to start seeing the very thing that you've talked about, James, coming back to our American young people, and that's sad. And we continue to see these kinds of things going on. I continue to report it as I see it and give my opinion about it for what it's worth. But you're right, and I sure appreciate you weighing in on that, James. Let me go to Edward. Edward calling us from Tennessee. 866-300-9298. Hey, Edward.
Hello, Dan.
How are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Good.
Hey, I've been looking at some investment in Florida, and just thought about wanting to retire there probably in about 7 years, and looking at a house possibly. And then I started thinking about these condo hotels that sometimes go on sale. Is that a better deal if I'm not going to be there for 7 years to be able to have upkeep, or is it even a good deal at all?
Well, I'll tell you what, some of these condo fees, Edward, are so expensive on a monthly basis that if you had a small house, you could pay, especially in Florida, you could pay a landscape guy to come in every week and, clean the beds and cut the grass and, keep things neat and clean for less than those condo fees. Now, obviously you'd have some small utility bills, and of course you'd always have to worry about a safety issue when you have a vacant house that you're only visiting from time to time. But, I would say that you think about both. I mean, the downside to the house, of course, is, the hurricane situation. You've got to worry about that, or, you have somebody reliable that's going to board things up for you if you're not there, that can get down there to do that for you, those kinds of things, somebody local. So there's definitely a little bit more aggravation in the home. But I think what you need to do is think more about this 7 years from now. Where do you think you'll be? And what I mean by that is I'm thinking mentally, are you going to be in a place where you're just going to want to come home from fishing or whatever you're going to do in your retirement years, to a nice quiet little home, and you're okay with cutting the grass and doing, or are you going to want to just not worry about anything and just show up and come and go? So that's really the important factor. I think you can get still some good deals in Florida. I don't have any problem with you purchasing that kind of real estate, looking 7 years out. Ideally, you would do it and lease it out for some time and make a little bit of money off it. But nonetheless, If it's a property that you're going to use, could it go through another real estate bubble? Could we see that again? Absolutely, we could. But if it's your home, if it's something you're purchasing because you want it to be your home, then I don't have a problem with it. And I think, I'm okay with you considering that. Great stuff. 866-300-9298, folks. We're going to come back with the second hour and get right back to the phones again. Cue your call up, 866-300-9298. You're listening to American Family Radio Network Financial Issues. I'm Dan Celia. We'll be back after this.